Breaking news out of NASA and the European Space Observatory. An interstellar object, officially designated 3I/ATLAS, has just done the impossible. At approximately 4:16 UTC, multiple telescopes detected a sudden split in its structure. Within seconds, half of the object vanished completely from view. NASA, ESA, and the Indian Space Research Organization have all gone into emergency analysis mode. The White House and United Nations have requested immediate updates, as early data now suggests something far beyond natural explanation. Stay with us, because what's unfolding tonight might change everything we thought we knew about the universe. Today, the impossible just happened in space. An object from outside our solar system split in two perfectly. One side disappeared, and now the other side is sending signals straight towards Earth. Scientists are calling this the scariest discovery in human history, and by the end of this video, you will see why. 3I/ATLAS may not just be a comet, it may be something else entirely. Stay tuned, because what happens next will blow your mind. If you are fascinated by the mystery of 3I/ATLAS and want to see more amazing cosmic stories, hit that like button and let the universe know you are watching. Comment below and let me know where you are watching this video from. For more than 4 decades, I have been deciphering the deepest laws of the universe. From gravity, quantum mechanics, to the very structure of space-time, I used to think I had seen every strange thing the universe could offer. But then, just 11 hours ago, an event involving 3I/ATLAS caused my entire perception to collapse. The object did not explode, did not crumble under pressure like any other celestial body. Instead, it split in two, neatly, precisely, perfectly, as if it were designed to do so. No debris, no physical shatter, just a smooth, pure cut that could not have been the product of nature. When the first signal from NASA rang out, I thought it was a joke, but data from Chile, Hawaii, and the European Space Network all confirmed the same thing. 3I/ATLAS had indeed split. And then the unthinkable happened. Half of it disappeared. Not drifting, not obscured by planets or sunlight, but completely gone. Telescopes, radar, deep space scanners, all picked up no trace, as if the part had been erased from existence. Only 2 other interstellar visitors have ever been recorded. Oumuamua in 2017 and 2I/Borisov in 2019. Both challenged our understanding of how matter behaves beyond the solar system, but nothing compared to this. If 3I/ATLAS truly contains internal energy sources or mechanical symmetry, it could be our first confirmed encounter with a constructed interstellar probe. And that's not just a scientific anomaly, it's a civilization-level discovery. You have to understand that humanity can track an object the size of a basketball from thousands of miles away, can see galaxies being born more than 13 billion years ago, and now we have lost an object the size of a mountain. What could have done that? An unknown form of energy or technology beyond our imagination, because there is no law of physics that allows an interstellar body to split apart so precisely and then disappear without a trace. This is not natural. This is intentional, controlled, calculated, and that's what creeps me out the most. Maybe someone or something is watching us from the darkness of space. Within minutes, social media lit up. Hashtags like #ATLASsplit and #interstellar began trending worldwide. Amateur astronomers from New Zealand to Arizona confirmed the same eerie thing. One half of 3I/ATLAS had simply blinked out. A leaked internal memo from NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, verified by several journalists, stated, "We are witnessing a non-natural division event. Recommend full blackout until confirmation." For the first time since Oumuamua, top scientists are openly debating the possibility of non-terrestrial design. 48 hours before the separation, 3I/ATLAS was still on a perfectly stable orbit, obeying every known law of physics. Everything was normal until the inexplicable happened. Without warning, without any signal interference or spectral changes, ATLAS began to accelerate. And this was not a small fluctuation. It accelerated at a rate far beyond any known value in celestial mechanics, even breaking all the inertia equations currently used by astrophysics. Normally, as a celestial body moves away from the Sun, its gravitational pull weakens, causing it to slow down. But Atlas exhibited the exact opposite behavior. The further it moved from the solar system, the more it accelerated. Data collected from telescopes in Chile, Hawaii, and the European Space Observatory showed that its acceleration increased exponentially with almost zero statistical uncertainty. There was no sign of reactive propulsion, no ionized gas streak, no plasma tail. Atlas accelerated in absolute silence. Astrophysicists at Harvard, Caltech, and the European Space Physics Center immediately went to work. They simulated every possible scenario: the gravitational influence of Jupiter, interplanetary magnetic fields, the solar wind, even escaping gas inside the object's structure. However, all the models led to the same conclusion. There was no suitable, natural explanation. This event forced scientists to confront a terrifying possibility: that ATLAS might not be a natural object. The initial stability, the intentional acceleration, and the perfect separation behavior all suggested extremely advanced technology far beyond what we currently understand. Could it be some kind of interstellar probe designed to disguise itself as a celestial body, an observation device sent by another civilization operating on energy principles unknown to us? If these hypotheses are correct, then 3I/ATLAS is not just an astronomical mystery, but a message, a reminder that humanity is not alone in the universe and that someone may be watching us. 36 hours before the split, all observatories monitoring 3I/ATLAS simultaneously recorded an unprecedented phenomenon. From the core of the object, a steady stream of energy pulses was emitted, not random explosions or ordinary natural radiation. These were perfect pulses of energy repeating exactly every 11 minutes, calculated to nanosecond accuracy. No natural process could produce such precision. Neutron pulsars, the objects with the most stable rotations in the universe, always have microscopic fluctuations. But Atlas was different. Its signal was absolutely precise, like the heartbeat of a giant machine reverberating through endless space. The entire research community was thrown into intense debate. One camp believed this could be a never-before-observed physical phenomenon. The other camp believed that this level of precision could only be the product of intelligence, not random nature. Then something no one expected. A faint hum buried in the signal was decoded into low-frequency modulation. When amplified and translated into audio frequencies, it sounded eerily structured, almost like a voice repeating in rhythm. One analyst described it as, "It's not random static, it's counting, as if marking time." Another section of the signal repeated a mathematical pattern: 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, the Fibonacci sequence, the universal code of nature and engineering. Whether coincidence or intention, the message seemed to suggest intelligence, or worse, observation. The pulse pattern followed a repeating cycle with clear mathematical structure like a coded signal. When comparing this pulse sequence with artificial signals created by humans, the similarity in stability and waveform was striking. If those pulses were indeed controlled, if the previous acceleration was also intentional, then 3I/ATLAS was not simply an object passing through the solar system. It was announcing its presence. Perhaps we had just witnessed the communication of an entity not of Earth. Perhaps Atlas was sent not just to observe, but to send a signal, a greeting, or even a warning. Whatever the case, the perfection of the pulse sequence exceeded the limits of nature, leaving us with a possibility no one dared to admit. The universe might be responding to us. 18 hours before the separation, a phenomenon occurred that silenced even the most skeptical scientists. Under constant surveillance from observatories across the globe, 3I/ATLAS's shape began to change. At first, the change was subtle, just a slight shift in the curvature of light. But after just 2 hours, the change became undeniable. The object gradually transformed from a sphere to a cylinder, symmetrical, smooth, and suspiciously purposeful. In 2 hours, a mass thousands of feet in diameter had reshaped itself. No matter in the known universe could sustain such rapid restructuring. Whether rock, ice, or metal, all would have been torn apart by the compressive forces. Yet, Atlas remained intact. Data from observatories in Chile, Japan, and South Africa confirmed the same thing. Its surface did not melt, did not crack, but changed at precise geometric rates as if undergoing a controlled transformation, like a machine preparing to launch for a pre-programmed mission. I remember staring at the telemetry data display. Numbers, graphs, and geometric patterns appeared one after another, and I realized that this was not a random event. This was a process, and at that moment, the 11-minute energy pulse that had been regular for hours suddenly stopped. All emission signals disappeared. No more radiation, no more energy waves, just absolute silence. It was as if the object had just turned off or switched to a different mode of operation. None of us understood what had just happened. Everyone in the control room just looked at each other, while the data continued to stream in blankly. We had no idea that this silence was a premonition, because 11 hours later, 3IATLAS would do something no human on Earth was ever ready to witness. Then, the unthinkable happened. 3IATLAS, after a long period of silence, split apart. No explosion, no fragmentation, no scattering of debris. It split in two along a single precise line, as if the entire event followed a carefully calculated blueprint. The two halves were exactly the same size, drifting away from each other in perfect balance and control. Scientists named them Object A and Object B. At first, both halves maintained stable orbits, moving in parallel, completely predictable. But then, the absurd happened. Object B abruptly changed direction. No orbital correction, no deceleration, just a perfect right-angle turn, which no mechanical law can allow. It accelerated suddenly, reaching a velocity far beyond all known physical limits, and then disappeared. Not obscured or out of sight, but completely gone. For a moment it was visible on every monitoring system, optical, infrared, radio, and then a millisecond later, all signals were lost. NASA's deep space arrays immediately lost lock. The European Space Agency confirmed the same result. Military satellites recorded the same phenomenon. Signal cut off. No reflections, no after effects, no light scattering, no gravitational fluctuations. An object miles in diameter, moving faster than any known natural object, suddenly vanished from the universe as if it had never existed. By now, major observatories had gone silent. NASA's live telemetry feeds suddenly went dark, replaced by archived footage. The European Space Agency locked down its data servers. Civilian astronomers who continued to stream their data reported their access was revoked. Some claimed their IPs were blocked within hours. Anonymous whistleblowers leaked what appeared to be government briefings labeled Category 7 Anomalous Event. World leaders remained quiet, but encrypted flight data showed an emergency summit taking place in Geneva, believed to include officials from NASA, China's CNSA, ISRO, and SPACEX representatives. Whatever 3I/ATLAS was, governments clearly didn't want the world to know yet. From control centers, whispers began to spread, heavy and haunting. Some suggested that Object B had not actually disappeared, but had hidden itself, perhaps through light-bending technology, gravitational manipulation, or even teleportation to another dimension. The theory sounded like science fiction, but the data did not lie. If Object B was truly capable of hiding completely from all human observation technology, then it was still out there, silent, invisible, and possibly watching us. 4 hours after separation, as observatories scrambled to locate the other half, a new anomaly emerged, not from the missing fragment, but from the one that remained. It began as a faint whisper in the radio spectrum, but as the team at SETI cleaned up the signal, what emerged left everyone speechless. It wasn't random static, but structure, communication. a repeating pattern of tones rising and falling with mathematical precision, forming ratios identical to prime numbers, the same kind of sequence that humanity itself had once sent into deep space on the Voyager Golden Record, except this time, we weren't the ones sending it. For 31 minutes, the signal continued, perfectly, purposefully, and here's where things got weirder. The signal wasn't beaming outwards, but beaming inwards, towards the exact coordinates where Object B disappeared, almost like a summons. The other half seemed to be calling out, as if sending instructions, or perhaps a wake-up call. Then, exactly on the last pulse, all transmissions stopped. Complete silence again, but only for a few minutes. After the silence, deep space sensors picked up a faint but unmistakable gravitational ripple coming from a point nearly 2 astronomical units closer to Earth. Whatever disappeared was not only hiding, but moving, and now heading toward us. As the gravitational reading stabilized, it became clear that the other half of 3IATLAS was no longer missing. It was moving toward Earth. At first, the trajectory seemed innocuous, just a flyby, but as measurements continued, things began to change. The object's speed increased exponentially, and the small adjustments in its orbit were by no means random. Each change in velocity was precise, in full accordance with orbital mechanics. All the data pointed to the same conclusion. The object was not just moving, but orienting itself internally. NASA, Harvard, and the European Space Network tried to keep quiet officially, calling it a gravitational anomaly. But in internal encrypted communications, the tone changed completely. No one mentioned the natural hypothesis anymore. Leaked recordings later confirmed something terrifying. The orbital patterns showed clear signs of active control from an unknown source. When the James Webb Space Telescope observed the target with adaptive optics, the image it captured stunned the team. Instead of a rough, cratered surface, what emerged was a faintly reflective surface, smooth as liquid metal, perfectly symmetrical, with no dust, no cracks, no natural geological features. Spectroscopic analysis showed its composition did not match any known material in the solar system, and its near-perfect reflectivity suggested a purpose-built material. Then, the next incongruous thing happened. 3IATLAS, traveling at millions of miles an hour, slowed down. A smooth, steady deceleration occurring precisely as it entered Jupiter's outer orbit. No reaction thrust, no energy release, just perfect deceleration. Something no law of physics allows without some form of advanced force control technology. From that moment on, every major agency in the world went silent. No more scientific publications, no press conferences. The last report our team received was an encrypted message: Object B holding position. No further movement detected. Awaiting instructions. The message was unsigned, uncoded, and ended with a strange string of characters that no one had yet deciphered. And what terrified us all the most was the final phrase, repeated 3 times: awaiting instructions. For nearly 6 hours, Object B remained completely motionless near Jupiter's orbit. Not a single ray of light, not a single detectable emission. The silence was almost unnatural. Then, at exactly 300 hours UTC, everything changed. Every major radio telescope on Earth detected a massive burst of electromagnetic waves, perfectly focused and synchronized with the position of 3IATLAS. The object that had been silent for hours suddenly came to life, emitting pulses at many different frequencies: gamma rays, radio waves, X-rays, all arranged in a pattern too complex to be a coincidence. When the data was decoded, a chilling discovery emerged. The waveforms contained symmetrical patterns that resembled blueprints or diagrams. The pulses weren't just signals, but instructions, and what was even more haunting was where those signals were going. They weren't beaming out into deep space, but straight into Earth. Within minutes of the transmission, several orbiting satellites stopped communicating. Defense systems initially dismissed it as a coincidence, a solar flare, cosmic interference. But the timing was too precise. Each failure occurred exactly when the pulse hit Earth's upper atmosphere. Like Object B wasn't just sending a message, but activating something that was already there. I watched as the data stream slowed. For a second, the graph stopped, and then a new line appeared. It was faint, almost unreadable, but it looked like coordinates. When we ran the numbers, my stomach turned cold. The coordinates pointed not to deep space, but to Earth's upper atmosphere. That's when I realized this wasn't an object coming to us. It was something that had already arrived. Over the past 12 hours, both halves of 3IATLAS have begun moving again. Not randomly, not drifting, but with purpose. The glowing object A has begun to rotate slowly and purposefully. Object B is mirroring that movement perfectly. Every degree of rotation, every angle is exactly the same. It is as if the two pieces are in sync, aligned with something. Astronomers noticed a strange coincidence. When projected forward, the axes of both rotations were converging not in deep space, not near the Sun, but directly along the orbit of Earth. That's when the panic started. Private networks and encrypted forums lit up with leaks from inside the agencies. Someone at ESA claimed that the two halves were creating a common magnetic field, a giant electromagnetic structure linking them together. Another leak showed energy signatures that looked very similar to those seen in early particle accelerator experiments, but on a planetary scale. In other words, the two pieces of 3IATLAS were not just aligned, they were forming a system. And then something even stranger happened. At the exact moment the alignment began, Earth's magnetic field recorded subtle fluctuations, small but measurable. Compass readings shifted, GPS accuracy dropped. Even migratory birds changed direction mid-flight across the globe. The invisible balance of our planet seemed to shake for just a moment, as if something huge and distant had touched the edge of our world's energy, a ripple on the invisible ocean of space. Now, as the connection is still being tightened, a question echoes through every lab, every observatory, every sleepless office at NASA and beyond. What happens when the two halves finally connect? Right now, tracking stations in Chile, South Africa, and India are still receiving faint data spikes from both halves of 3IATLAS. The patterns suggest synchronization and a countdown. Some say it's preparing for reintegration. Others believe it's waiting for a signal from Earth itself. If the two halves reconnect, what will they create? A message, or something far more powerful? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future explorations.